Restoule Provincial Park, July 2021.
So this is the Fire Tower Trail, and it's actually it's a very long trail. It's also very accessible for the most part until you actually get to the actual scenic part of it. But there are a couple, I will say, there are a couple scrambles in the main part of the trail as well. And it's been a little technical, right guys?
Yeah.
For my painting at Restoule, I decided to paint down by the boat launch. It was a beautiful morning, and there was this really interesting dock, kind of a T shape with things on the end. I don't know how else to describe it. So anyways, as you can see, I started with the sky and the water. It was a very simple blue gradient that I used. Then I used blues and kind of blue-greens to do the distant trees.
So, this is some of the flatter parts of the trail. You can see Sophia and David. They enjoyed running and being the leaders of this trail. But as you'll see kind of a little bit later on, there's definitely some scrambles having to get up it. But this is, for me, like that trail was fantastic. So up here is the kind of like the connecting trail for the what do you call that thing? Fire tower trail that we're doing. But it's not very well marked, so you have to be kind of know that if you're going down to the main lake. Because we blew by it on our bikes, went down an extremely steep hill, and I parked our bikes because there's really nowhere to put them. And now we got to walk halfway up this hill to kind of catch back out to the trail. So just be kind of aware of that. Yeah, to actually get the start of that thing, if you go down that steep hill, you hit the lake, and you kind of almost like do a U-turn. There's a little side access road that'll take you right to the start, but it's not very well defined on that map.
As I continued to do my painting, I added more yellow to those blues, greens, to the closer trees to help show that atmospheric perspective, giving a little more detail and a little more brightness to the closer things.
Modern working family people, everybody's got an appropriate device to film this occasion. So yeah, so there's also a couple of boardwalks that go across some of the marshy parts because there's a couple muddy parts on this path.
It was pretty hard to get through the muddy parts because you have to like tiptoe around it and go halfway into the bush, kind of.
You thought we were going fast, but this one is a fast part.
Yeah, we had to speed that part up because even Dad can't walk that fast. Not too bad. Pretty cool though. Oh.
Oh yeah, we can get around.
Oh yeah. It's very cool in here, so this should be good for the ride down too. So those parts are the more technical, scrambly parts, and there are some on the main trail. But when you actually like hit the part of the trail where it breaks off, so you can actually go to like the fire tower and Amber Lake and the lookout, that's where she gets really steep. So you have to kind of be cautious of that.
So as you'll notice, the water isn't perfectly glass, as I would like to call it. It has a slight ripple to it, but I still wanted to show fairly calm water. And I'm using this technique that Ed Roach actually taught me in a watercolor class, and it's pretty effective at creating just a ripple in the water instead of making like crashing waves. And I thought it turned out really well in this painting.
So what did you two guys think of the trail? Because it was like the first big trail you guys tackled on this trip.
I kind of liked how you had to climb up the rocks. That was pretty fun.
I like the cliff, but some parts are muddy area.
Yeah, there are a couple longer stretches for the mud. So beware of that. If you're gonna go after a rainstorm, you may want to give it a couple days to dry out because they can be long stretches of muck. So what are you doing there, David?
Well, I'm going down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Soph.
Yeah. So what's Soph doing there?
Well, climbing down. I love call her Soph because you can also call her Sophia or Sophie.
You're not wrong, because she'll be featured in the next couple of videos because she came along with us on this trip.
Well, I had a lot of fun on this trip too, though.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on this 2-week trip. Now we're going, well, this is the fire trail. And see, it's muddy.
Yeah, because that was like the boardwalk that was like it flooded over or something from like, because it rained pretty hard the night before. So again, you have to kind of watch out for that. But here's Amber Lake here, which is kind of a, because what the trail splits off, and you can kind of finish the trail, go back to the parking lot, or you can do this kind of like extra section.
So as I'm coming to the end of finishing up those waves, you'll note that the splotches get bigger as I get closer to the bottom to try and give more perspective. And then here comes the dock. I struggled with this dock, and you'll see it in the end as well. The perspective gets a little funky.
Not as funky as this climb, let me tell you, because that was a pretty good scramble going up there. That was like one of the steeper ones. So you can either go up to Amber Lake, and it's a little bit easier to go up, and then it's really steep going down because it's kind of broken up into 3 portions. And the kind of the separate section there from the main trail. There's Amber Lake, the lookout, and the fire tower. So if you go to the lookout first, that's a steep climb. But if you do that last, it's a steep decline. So kind of up to you however, if it's easier for you to go up or down.
Yeah, see, we're climbing.
So what?
And then we're going back down.
Yeah. So is that the longest hike you've ever done, Sophie?
Probably. That's not the longest hike.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that's the fire tower. I can't really express how tall it is with the GoPro camera, but it's got to be a good 100 meters in the air. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know when they decommissioned it. Oh, sorry, David. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty tall.
So I don't know when they decommissioned it, but I kind of wish. I understand why they took the ladder away, but I kind of really wish it was still there so I could climb it, because I would like to see what it looked like at the top of it.
And here's a view. Also, this is part where a chipmunk tried to go, on Daddy's backpack. Or you could call him Andrew.
Or not. So, but yeah, David's right. There's a chipmunk, and he was a very brave chipmunk, and he wanted to hike. He wanted to like catch a ride in our backpack, and he was just kind of stalking us. It was pretty wild.
And then everyone was afraid to open the backpack after, so you made me open it.
It's true. It's true. She's younger and healthier and more resilient than I am with all my health problems. So it would have been way safer for her to do that.
Okay, you see a waterfall, but it's not going because we take a picture. And here's the water. We all felt it's too cold.
Yeah, until you got used to it, then it was pretty warm.
So as I'm working on the dock, I was trying to create the board-like texture by doing multiple layers of different colors. I started off with that base ochre, and then added in some whites and some burnt siennas on top with some Payne's gray. The vertical boards I thought turned out quite well. The horizontal boards I obviously had at the wrong angle. Hopefully I can come back and fix that in the studio, because otherwise I thought between the trees and the water, this painting turned out pretty nice. I just need to fix up those boards, and that happens sometimes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. One of the big things when you're creating things is to focus on what went really well, and in this case I really was happy with how the water turned out. It translated quite well into the acrylics. Some things we did not like about Restoule. I did not really like our site. It was crowded and it was really hard to get into.
No one liked the mud on the trail because there's a lot of muddy patches. So it's something to kind of keep in mind.
And nobody liked us coming back up so we could get to the trail.
Yeah, it's a steep climb getting back to that trail.
And some things we did like about Restoule.
I loved the view from Stormy Lake. I thought it was well worth climbing up there to get that view.
I really like the Fire Tower Trail in general.
I thought it was kind of cool that they had some rentals. I just wish we had known about it sooner.
I really love the map in the middle, but I love.
This is Restoule Provincial Park, July 2021. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for Sophia for joining us on this trip. And I hope to see you guys at our next spot at Samuel de Champlain Provincial Park.
Goodbye.
Oh, bye.